Tonight, Port Augusta's best-known landmark comes crashing down, bringing mixed emotions for locals. And Whyalla High School students come together to spell out "Stop" on their school oval in a show of support for White Ribbon Day.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening. The lasting legacy of Port Augusta's 33-year-old power station has crashed to the ground with a 200-metre-high chimney stack demolished this morning. The demolition of the town's best-known landmark bringing mixed emotions from locals.
3, 2, 1, follow.
An explosive end to a pivotal part of the town's history. The famous chimney stack was brought to ground by 60 kilograms of explosives, marking the 7th and final demolition of Port Augusta's old coal-fired power station.
Fell exactly where we wanted it to, so pretty perfect outcome in terms of what we were after. The
fall occurred just after 8 a.m, with a huge number of the public and curious marsupials seeking the best vantage point for one of the town's most anticipated events.
It was like a silent movie, slow motion vision.
Lucky I heard the explosion, looked around and it was already a quarter of the way down, so 10 seconds, all over.
The stack's end tugging at the heartstrings of many locals.
It's a bit sad, really, end of an era.
Sad end to something the town's seen for years.
Now the plumes of dust have settled, the next job for Flinders Power is to sort through the rubble.
We've got a couple more months of cleaning up of the scrap, and then we'll be well on our way to having a clean site.
GARTH, BURLEY, Southern Cross News.
Authorities have arrested a 26-year-old Henley Beach man after he allegedly led police on an hour-long pursuit from Port Augusta to TRELOAR in the state's mid-north. Police will allege the man sped off in a black ute and narrowly missed standing officers as they attempted to stop the vehicle. The ute was found dumped on the Horrocks Highway with a punctured tyre and was seized by police. The 26-year-old was refused bail. Whyalla has reaffirmed its commitment to stopping violence against women to mark White Ribbon Day. Whyalla High School students came together to say "Stop," marking the word out on the school oval. It was part of a week of activities on the subject.
I didn't know how much it happened. I knew it happened, but not this much.
Teaching our students what that actually means and how they can speak out and seek support in the community.
While a garden of reflection was opened in Ada Ryan Gardens in memory of victims. Around 1 Australian a week is murdered as a result of domestic violence. Meantime, community members and representatives from the South Australian Police Force attended a White Ribbon Day breakfast in Port Pirie. The function focused on raising awareness of domestic violence and encouraging men not to be passive bystanders.
This is very much about men speaking up and to other men and saying it's not okay. And it can be things like being at a barbecue and there's, derogatory comments about women.
If you are in immediate danger, you are urged to call police on 000. For counselling, support and advocacy, call the Victim Support Service on 1800 842 846. There are concerns for a southern right whale and her calf that continue to be spotted in Eyre Peninsula's waters. It's hoped they will make the long voyage south to the sub-Antarctic waters soon.
Unusually late whale sightings have been a cause for concern for a mother and calf duo.
I'm not sure if this sort of event has been recorded before, such a late migration.
Most calves are born in mid-July. However, the mother didn't arrive in Encounter Bay waters until late August. Her calf was born September 14.
At that point, there were concerns because it was so late in the season that the calf would actually survive.
But the pair continued to be spotted in the area until November 1st.
The mother and calf were sighted at Cape Jervis the next day, and then we assumed they were doing their migration south.
The duo have provided prime viewing for those around Port Lincoln over the last fortnight. But with rising water temperatures and the mother losing weight, experts are worried about the voyage thousands of kilometres south back to the feeding grounds.
That calf needs to be strong enough and also have enough fat layers to be able to withstand the cold waters.
The pair were last seen Tuesday at Sleaford Bay, but we won't know if they've survived until they're spotted again in local waters next year. Casey TRELOAR, Southern Cross News.
Local fishers say drastic action is needed to stop the decline in snapper in the Spencer Gulf. They say numbers are the worst in living memory and certain commercial fishers need to be reined in.
They say there's plenty of fish in the sea, but that's not the case for snapper in the Spencer Gulf. Alan Hall has been fishing snapper for nearly 50 years, for both business and recreation. He says the population is in dire straits.
The worst I've ever seen it, yeah, everybody's struggling. There's no breeding schools up here at all anymore. Those big schools are just non-existent.
Mr Hall will travel to Adelaide next week for a meeting organised by Primary Industries to address the alarming decline. He says there's only one option that'll work, a 6-month fishing ban.
We need longer closures. The snapper move up in September and October to breed, and they're being targeted.
Local MP Eddie Hughes hopes a long-term solution can be found.
We do need to protect it so we can sustain those businesses, the recreational inputs.
This region is famous for its snapper, with people flocking from all over the country. Mr Hall says commercial and recreational fishers need to unite and protect the species.
Each piece is a segment of the cake. No sector can blame each other. Everybody's in it together.
Purser did not comment before deadline. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, the festive season officially kicks off in Whyalla. What to expect in their annual Christmas pageant tomorrow. Hello again. Andrea Broadfoot has been pre-selected as the Centre Alliance candidate for the federal seat of Grey. With an election due early next year, she's ready to challenge the long-standing Liberal seat for a second time.
Formerly the candidate for the Nick Xenophon team in 2016, Andrea Broadfoot will again contest the seat of Grey. She's been pre-selected to represent the same party under a new name, the Centre Alliance Party, at next year's election, and with renewed confidence.
At the last election we said that we would make Grey marginal. This time I'll say we'll win the seat.
Grey has been a blue ribbon Liberal seat since 1993, but in 2016 Miss Broadfoot slashed the Liberals' margin from 14% to just 1.8%.
I think that people are looking for something different, and I'm here to listen and to continue to work for the community of Grey.
And she's ready to take on the new and ongoing issues.
There's still much to do with Near Star in Port Pirie under the pump, and also we've got the nuclear waste repositories for Kimber and Hawker that are still in process.
Despite the X Factor not standing by her side this time round, the Port Lincoln local says her team is ready to go.
Still the same core group of people. We're agile, nimble, and we're passionate and committed to the work that we do to represent people.
Casey TRELOAR, Southern Cross News.
With the fire danger season well and truly underway, the CFS is urging farmers to consider preparing their pets and livestock within their bushfire action plans. Cows, sheep and horses each require different precautionary measures to ensure their safety.
When people prepare for a bushfire action plan, family comes first. But amidst the chaos, it's easy for people to forget about their livestock, which is why the CFS has urged locals to implement a number of measures to help ensure their survival.
On the news you get a catastrophic weather warning, and so with a bit of luck you have maybe 24 or 48 hours to prepare.
When fire warnings are issued, it's important to make sure that safety of livestock is part of an ongoing property management. Preparing a safe paddock with access to drinking water and away from combustible material is a necessity.
Livestock, of course, can't generally be shifted from your property, but you might be able to shift them from a densely wooded paddock to a less vegetation paddock.
If you've got something like a horse, then we'd recommend that you actually graze a paddock fairly low for them.
Animals can be affected in bushfires by radiant heat, smoke inhalation, burns from walking over hot ground, and injuries caused by panic, such as getting caught in fencing. If your own safety is ensured and you have the resources to do so, you should relocate your pets and livestock.
Got animals that are small enough to be transported, then we recommend that, as we would with humans, that you build them an emergency kit.
Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Renewable energy projects across the state are set to benefit from the arrival of a large crane at Port Augusta. The machine will assist in building giant wind turbines, and it's the biggest of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere.
Tipping the scales at 1,200 tonnes, with arms stretching up to 100 metres, this giant heavy lifting crane now has a home on Port Augusta soil.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing and awesome.
The blue Liebherr machine travelled from Germany to Max Cranes and will play a big part in helping build and service tall wind towers across the country. It's the biggest telescopic crane in the Southern Hemisphere.
This crane's going to give us the differentiation between us and the other players.
The heavy lifter has been in the country for a few months now, and a handful of Max Crane's top operators were given the opportunity to train on the $13 million machine for 3 weeks in Port Pirie.
Very nervous the first week. Like I said, we just didn't want to scratch anything, but now it's a crane and we're here to lift stuff.
This significant financial investment was propped up by nearly $5 million of funding from the federal government for the Regional Jobs and Investment Package. The crane's inaugural job will be in Snowtown in January, and they can't wait to show it off.
We're hoping there's a job surfaces sometime in December because she's ready to roll.
GARTH, Burley, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill has seen an influx of visiting artists this week. They're all here for a local competition which challenges them to use a local theme and get creative.
Making the most of their time in the Silver City.
They've won scholarships from AGL to visit Broken Hill and produce artworks for the big event on Saturday.
The Desert Equinox Water and Earth Challenge tasks artists to create an artwork based on a theme. The 4 visiting artists all entered the challenge, creating some brilliant works. From shovels in the ground...
With my work, I had planned to have it have some sort of relation to the mining here as well.
...to honouring Broken Hill's great women through a mural...
My interest is actually the difference between male representation in public space and female representation.
...to an unusual video presentation.
It's going to be a video work of the moon and a pipeline projected through a washing machine door which is held within a sterling silver fence.
Harry Copus uses audio for his work, producing mining sounds from underneath the floorboards through multiple speakers.
The original idea came from the mines blasting at around 7 p.m. every night. So that sort of awareness that digging is happening constantly underneath you.
Those plus more artworks will be unveiled tomorrow, with the Equinox Awards being presented at 11 o'clock. Locals are invited to the town square to have a look. Patrick Royenke, Southern Cross News.
There's just one more sleep to go until Santa visits Whyalla for the annual Christmas pageant. Organisers and performers are in final preparations for tomorrow's event, which marks the beginning of the festive season.
It's almost pageant day and the kids of Whyalla Stewart Primary are already in the festive spirit. There'll be one of 40 floats taking part and the kids themselves cannot wait to be part of it.
We practiced for about a month and a half-ish since the start of term It's quite fun because it's got a lot of teamwork in there.
Apex and Whyalla Council are also dusting off their mistletoe and tinsel. It's a big exercise, but Apex Damien Trenwith says it's all worth it to see the community smile.
It's great to see the children enjoy it, but it's also great to have a local community can have a day out.
Father Christmas has been booked in and will make an appearance, while fireworks will light up the sky after 8:30 p.m. Whyalla's other Santa, Steelworks owner Sanjeev Gupta, will be there. He and 50 other employees will be part of the GFG display, which will feature a brand new float.
Check out our new Gupta Express. It's a pretty impressive thing that Council's put together for us. And yeah, there'll be a whole heap of our employees and their families.
And while cool weather is predicted, Damien says he still expects a large turnout.
A lot of people already have their spots from previous years. Plenty of places to find a bit of bitumen to sit on.
The magic gets underway in the City Plaza from 5 p.m. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have the region's cricket tips, and in the weather we'll see some scattered showers for your Saturday, but it will be mostly fine this weekend. I'll have all the local weather details soon. Welcome back. Time now to see what's happening in local cricket this weekend.
Hello and welcome to round 6 of Port Pirie cricket. This round sees Props and Wandera set the clash at Globe Oval on Saturday. I'm tipping Props on the hard wicket. At Port Oval on Saturday, it's Southport taking on the undefeated Solly North. I'm tipping Solly North to continue their winning streak.
Yeah, g'day and welcome to round 6 of Port Augusta cricket. This week we see South Augusta take on Central Stirling.
This should be a good match. Both sides are in a bit of form. I'm going to go for South Augusta because South currently are the top side, so I reckon they'll beat Central Stirling. The other side is a battle of two losers from the last round, KUHN and West. The match is going to be played in KUHN, so I'm going to lean towards KUHN to beat West Augusta. So there are my two winners, South Augusta and KUHN.
North will play South at Memorial Oval on Saturday with an important game for the Magpies, looking to push a couple of games clear of South on the bottom of the ladder. My tip, North in a close one. Table leaders Rapina and Central will play against each other on Sunday at Memorial. This is a much hyped clash with Greg Phoebe coming off a magnificent 150 and Scott Collison and Brad Smith having recent centuries. My tip, upset with Rapina taking the chocolates.
Welcome to this week's Port Lincoln Cricket Tips. First game sees Lincoln South and Wayback Centenary. I think Lincoln South will get up in this match. Next game sees Tasmans and Todd River out at Dorwood. Two teams in the finals at the moment and need to consolidate their spots. Going to tip the Red Caps to get over the line just. And in the final game of the round, SES and Charlton at Poole Oval. Top two teams in the competition. Going to tip Charlton to upset the Southern Air South here and get over the line, and will be, as I say, a really good game of cricket.
Important weekend for premiership aspirations for all four sides in Broadfoot cricket. Undefeated North take on South at the Jubilee Oval. This looks like being a cracker of the game. I'm actually tipping South to end North's winning run. I think the Roos are on a roll at the moment. At the other game, West take on Central. West with one win under the belt, Central yet to open their winning account, and I'm tipping they may just pip West in the game in another very entertaining contest.
Now let's take a look at what's happening in the weather. It was a mostly fine end to the working week today, Port Augusta reaching a cooler top of 23 degrees. On the satellite, patchy cloud over SA's southeast with brisk onshore winds is causing some showers. Wispy high cloud in the west is bringing virtually no rain, and skies are clearer in the north and northeast. On the waters for your Saturday, northeasterly winds up to 25 knots, seas at 1 metre with a south-southwesterly swell, and sunrise will be at 6:04 tomorrow morning. Now it's going to warm up a little tomorrow too, and we're in for some scattered showers as well. Port Augusta 29 the max, Whyalla 26, windy in Port Lincoln 22 the top. It's going to fine up for Sunday and into next week. Port Lincoln 22 on Monday, Cleve 25 the top, and Port Lincoln could see the odd shower on Tuesday with temps around the 20-degree mark for all centres. The odd shower over the coming days, warming up by Monday. Port Augusta back in the 30s club again, but it will cool down on Tuesday, fine conditions, while Kadina could see a shower here or there. Lovely conditions for the rest of the weekend here. Broken Hill sunny and 29 on Sunday, 31 for Monday and Tuesday, while Port Pirie and Clare will cool down slightly for Tuesday with a shower or two forecast. And that's all the local news this Friday. Thanks for your company and have a great weekend. Good night.